Moon Podcast Escalation! Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan D. White.
My name is Chris Sims, and this is Sailor Business. It's the podcast where we sit down sometimes with a friend and watch an episode of the classic 1990s anime Sailor Moon and talk about why it is that we love it so much. We're back, everybody. Heard you missed us. We're back.
How do you like leaning over and against that wall?
Ooh, it's been where I've been for quite some time. If you're listening to this in the future, if you're not listening to this in sequence, it's been a minute since we've been here. But I am happy to be back. Jordan, are you happy to be back?
I wish I was happier to be back, but let's keep going.
Wow! I gave you a layup on that one, buddy.
I know, but I cannot tell a lie.
Hey.
Yeah.
Why aren't you happy, buddy?
Because, you know what I miss is the show Sailor Moon about Sailor Moon. And you know what I don't miss?
Remember what that is.
Yeah. Me fucking neither. We got this goddamn spin-off about a girl and her horse boyfriend. And I didn't miss it.
This, unless I'm completely misremembering from when I watched this episode the first time we were going to do the show, there's not like a ton of horse in this. And there is quite a bit of Sailor Scouts.
Yeah, but I mean, again, we should introduce our guests so they could get in on the conversation. But
we're getting ahead of ourselves. We've forgotten how to do the show. We've only done it 162 times.
But it was 162 weeks ago that we did that.
That's also incorrect.
Or something like that.
Chrissy O'Brien Murphy is here to talk to us. Chrissy, welcome back to the show. You are a previous guest.
Yes, thank you for having me back.
Of course. You volunteered to take the horse boyfriend hits?
I did.
How long has it been?
I think 96 was my last episode.
My goodness.
Wow. So it's been quite some time. Let's see. Let's load up old sailorbusiness.com.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was going to be math.
95, 96, yeah.
And so let's see. That was oh goodness. Oh my, yes.
That's the episode where Haruka seduces Sailor Jupiter and then tries to murder her.
Yes.
Yeah.
A classic. That was a good one.
Chrissy, do you have any recent Sailor Moon developments in your life?
No, I don't. I almost got to go to Japan a couple months ago, so then I would have had like 1 million, but the trip fell through, so I don't.
Oh, well, I'm sorry the trip fell through, but maybe one day you will get to go.
I intend to
see
someday.
That statue of the girl.
I like it.
Is there a Sailor Moon statue?
Let's look it up. Is there a Sailor Moon statue?
There has to be one somewhere, right?
Fucking lame.
There should be.
It brings up all action figures and stuff.
Oh no, I don't want like a statue that I would have in my home if I was about to say if I was a weirdo, but I'm here on this podcast for the 165th time.
Chris,
so
there are probably people who call the action figures you have statues.
Those are not statues.
Also, how big a statue would you potentially have? Like, what's the height limit there?
That I would personally own?
Yes.
I mean, probably David size, I think, is what I would want.
Okay, wait, Chris, here's my real question.
Yes.
If one of our generous fans bought you a life-size Sailor Moon statue, would you display it in your house?
Would I? Yes. I do have a wife.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Who does not approve of a lot of my anime-related decisions.
I just Googled life-size Sailor Moon.
Oh no.
I'm not seeing anything good. Ooh, there's a life-size apparently at the Sailor Moon Museum. There's a life-size Queen Sailor Moon and purple suited and not Endymion, purple suited Mamoru from the End of Time.
No, that's he's King Endymion at that point.
Is he
right?
King Endymion again? That's
Yeah,
weird.
I think he uses that name.
That's weird that he goes back to his past life name.
Well, she's Neo Queen Serenity. She goes back to her past life name. She's not Queen Usagi.
That's not her past life name. That's her mom.
Yeah, okay, so yes, it's even weirder, it turns out.
Are you sure that's their name in the future?
I think so.
Thank you, Chrissy. I am almost certain.
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna, I mean, I guess it's like going like Elizabeth III or something, right? Like, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Yeah, that's what she's called in the future.
Is it like Pope names where
Yeah,
they just
similar.
take up a name?
Yeah, that's the same with the queens and the kings.
I mean, you'd think that it would be like that, except that we are not. We will not be watching a show about like Serenity the Third or Serenity the Fourth. It's just Queen Serenity.
No,
it's just they are the same person.
No, that's her
And
mother.
I guess she is only the second one who has ever been Queen Serenity. Like, presumably her mom was queen for all of time before she died.
I guess when you're queen for all of time, you don't really think about succession.
Again, you keep saying they're the same person. I do not believe that she and her mom are the same person.
No, I don't think they are either.
No, Chris said that.
He did?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a soul continuity.
But they both existed at the same time.
Yeah, it's a weird show, Jordan. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't believe this. I don't think this is accurate. I think she just becomes queen and is like, I'm going to take my mother's name and be, instead of Serenity the Second, I'll just be Neo Queen Serenity.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it makes as much sense as anything else.
What if we did that in regular names? So instead of being like, Jordan D. White Jr., it was like Neo Jordan.
I think, I mean, it's too late for me. I've already given my son a name, but Chris?
Small Jordan.
Chris, I think when you have a young boy, you could name him Neo Chris.
I like how you say when I have a young boy as though I am Bruce Wayne.
You're right. When you take on a ward.
When I acquire an orphan.
And make him change his
legally,
name to Neo Chris.
I mean, if he wants to inherit your Sailor Moon statues.
Yeah, apparently, like, there's a... Hey, Christy, you don't have any new Sailor Moon developments, but do you have any Sailor Moon things that you would like to talk about? Since we're just sitting here talking nonsense.
The best nonsense. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mentioned this in my email to you guys, but the reason I wanted to come on towards the end of the season this time was I really want to talk about the manga because I really like this arc in the manga.
Sure.
And the end of the anime season is when they kind of touch on a little bit of the manga plot, but then still, like, completely do a much worse version. I'm not phrasing that well. It's just a completely different story.
Yeah.
Guess you could say it's a horse of a different color.
Oh.
No, well, I mean, the horse is black and white.
I guess you could say they're saddled with a completely different plot. I guess you could say they're running roughshod over Naoko Takeuchi's vision.
That you could say, yes. It's exactly the thing you were complaining about. Like, the manga storyline is about Sailor Moon and the Scouts, and, like, Chibiusa plays an important part in it, but it's not the Chibiusa show, and Helios is a supporting character, and nobody's a creep.
like yes, I'm not gonna lie, Sailor Moon is in this episode, the Sailor Scouts are in this episode, but how do I put this? Sailor Moon is in this episode like Sailor Jupiter is in an episode in season 1. Like, that isn't a Sailor Jupiter episode. She's just they're all cast members, but it's called Sailor Moon, friend. I want her to be the most important scout most of the time.
We'll get to it when it happens, but I think there is as much as I thought this episode was actually pretty enjoyable, there is definitely a huge missed opportunity for what I think would be a really good bit of like Usagi related like development that I wish they would have done. Or not even development, but like just a good Usagi moment, you know?
What, do you want to bring that up when we get there in the episode, or do you want to
I'll bring that up when we get there. Before then, I do want to take a moment and talk about why it's been so long since the last time people have heard us. Christy has been waiting patiently. We have backed out on recording with you, I think, 3 times before now.
Oof.
That sounds right.
Is it really that many? Jeez Louise.
Yeah. And, obviously part of the gap was that we took the holidays off, as we usually do.
Yeah.
Which is why our last episode was the Christmas episode, where we listened to that amazing song, which I didn't talk about on the show, but I do want to mention here that when Usagi sings When the Saints Go Marching In, there is a background chorus of kazoos, which I didn't mention on the show, but I actually wrote down and wanted to talk about in case people didn't know that album was very weird. But part of the reason that we did not do a show before now is that I had some pretty taxing meds issues, actually. As you might know, if you've listened to me talk about it on this show or on some other podcasts, I got the depression, I got the anxiety. So I am on some medicine for that. And a lot of the stuff with meds, with like psychiatric meds, is trial and error. Like, you kind of just have to go on a bunch of stuff and see what works. And so I was on one for a while. I don't want to get into brand names.
But, not unless they pay us for advertising.
Yeah.
Kidding.
I'll take it. I'll take Prozac presents Sailor Business any day of the week, my man.
Ask your actual doctor, not Sailor Mercury.
But yeah, I was on one that made me so forgetful that I forgot I had agreed to do a convention until I started getting emails about registering for it.
Oh no.
Wow, forgetful as a side effect. That's awful.
Yeah, I was really just foggy all the time. And so when I realized that was the huge problem that it was, I went and changed things up. And the next one that I got made me so tired. And it's what I was on for all of December and the first little bit of January. So if you go back and listen to the podcast then, and I seem more tired than I have been in a while, it's not just because of the horse. There's chemicals involved.
Oh, wow. I don't have any kind of excuse like that.
Well, you're just worn out by Sailor Moon Supers, Jordan.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I noticed that one was a big problem.
Yeah.
When I went to bed at 8:30 one night and got out of bed at 11:30 the next morning. And the entire purpose of me being on this medicine is to not stay in bed for 16 hours. Like, I can do that with my regular brain chemistry.
Oh, God. It's not supposed to be funny when you're suffering, Chris.
No, but I do think it is important for people to be a little more open about, mental health stuff and meds, and just, a reminder, if you are having trouble with your medication, you're not alone in that. I was too. And now I'm on something else that seems to be working out very well. Then Jake got sick. Then I had to fly across the country a couple times. Then Jordan, you were tired one night.
I had to work late one night.
You had to work late. That was it. I'm sure you were tired afterwards.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
It's been tough. We're sorry. We really are. I know
we're sorry, and we're acting sorry.
Right. But we're acting it because we are it. Because again, I know people really like the show, and
I've heard that.
They miss it.
I've seen no evidence of it myself, but
they miss it when it's not around. And so we're going to do what we can to get it back to y'all.
Yeah. And it starts here with this episode.
So this is the, so, okay, I want to get real. I'm going to lay it on the table. Okay.
All right. Get real with me
right now in real life.
Christy, are you prepared to get real?
I am usually fictional, but I will do my best.
Thank you. For me, it's currently, as we record this, January 22nd. Mm-hmm. Our last episode came out on December 16th. We didn't record it on December 16th. We recorded it, I don't even know when, sometime before that, obviously.
Yeah, not too long before that, if memory serves.
Right, but even so, and that was a Chibi-sode, which wasn't about the show. So let me go back an episode past that. The last episode about the show we did came out on December 10th. It's been over 6 weeks, or around 6 weeks, since our last episode came out about the show. So I haven't watched the show in between except for yesterday. I watched this episode.
Oh, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for it. Jordan.
Yes.
Our heroine is Usagi Tsukino.
Oh, God.
She's 14 years old.
You're fucking lying to me.
Her blood type is O.
She's the heroine? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because she
I'm
didn't
pretty
do
sure
that much in this episode. It sort of seemed like the little pink-haired girl. Oh, wait a minute. Are you tricking me? Because the little pink-haired girl's name is Usagi Tsukino. God damn. She's not 14 years old, though.
No. Well, she's 914.
No, yeah. So I put this episode on yesterday, and my first note is, oh, right, this. Because I had completely forgotten everything about where we were in the show. And then it came on, and I was just like, oh.
Here's a legitimate question that I think we need to ask, that I need to ask.
Let's hear it.
I don't need like details, but like, is Stars good?
Listen, it's been a long time, and I don't remember in depth whether it's good. I do remember it being bananas enough that I was like, whoa, all the time. And I also remember
definitely different.
Yes. I remember loving some one of the songs and the new theme song. The new theme song
that is what's important.
Is great, and one of the songs in the show is great. And when I was tweeting about how I miss Sailor Moon being the main character of Sailor Moon last night on the Sailor Business Twitter, I was like, I can't wait till she's like the main character. Somebody did tweet back, season 5, bro. And I was like, I can't wait. So
and don't forget, after that, we'll have something.
Yeah.
Oh, whether it's Crystal, whether it's
I have an idea.
Oh, Christy, do share.
I don't want to like put you guys on the spot here, but I was thinking it would be really cool if you took like a short break and did Madoka, because it's a short show. There's only 12 episodes, and I think you'd both have a lot to say about it that the listeners would be really interested in. And by the listeners, I mean me.
I've heard great things.
I think we should do a season of business cards.
No, I don't. I'm not doing that.
Just a real quick 50 episodes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can do that spinoff.
Card captors.
I'm not doing that. That's a show I know nothing about other than that it has the word cards in it.
I mean, our heroine is, I wish I could remember her name. Sakura, obviously, I don't remember her last name.
Madoka, on the other hand, I was sold on enough not to ever watch it, but sold on enough to vaguely go, I would like to watch that, by someone telling me it was the Watchmen of Magical Girl series, and I went, all right, you got me.
Especially like coming off of all of the original Sailor Moon series, that would be just like a really great mental experience.
Well, I can't promise you that, but it is an interesting idea. Again, I don't want to make any solid promises on this because right now I'm dying from the show.
So
listen,
dramatic.
I know, but I was just like, oh, why are we watching this again? And that's something I never thought I would say about Sailor Moon. But I'm so sick of this fucking chibi.
It's almost over.
It is.
You got to take 6 weeks off. Come back to it with some fresh eyes.
I just did that.
Clear eyes, full hearts.
I just did that. In addition, I was thinking about it. I was like, how come I wasn't this miserable when I did this last time? And I think the answer is because I watched an episode every business day, every work day.
Every Sailor business day.
Which meant I went through it much faster. Like it was far less drawn out. Even if I wasn't enjoying it, I was like almost done already.
Yeah, you also didn't have to spend 90 minutes talking about each episode.
Although I tweeted
we
a lot.
spend a lot of time with the show.
What's the first episode of this season?
I mean, one. I don't even know.
Let me look.
I wish I could tell you.
Here we go. Sailor Moon Super S 128. Let's see when episode 128 came out of Sailor Business. That was the Pastel Upside Down. December 17th, 2017. We've been living with this fucking horse for a year. Over a year.
Yeah, we sure have.
Like,
what a year it's been.
The people who did the Grown Ups 2 podcast only did it for a year.
That's true. And that one was called The Worst Idea of All Time.
I know.
All right. All right, let's.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're about ready to just get on into it.
Of course, this is going to be fun, guys. I'm sorry I was so down just now.
Yeah,
I'm going to try to pep myself up,
and I don't appreciate it. Everybody wants to have a good time. Everybody's going to be like, "Oh wow, I'm so excited for this new episode of Sailor Business." Oh wait, it's just these two dudes complaining.
I'm being a real Sailor Scrooge.
Yeah, are you a?
I was just envisioning Scrooge McDuck in a sailor suit, and now I may need to draw that.
I like it. I'm in.
Listen, are you
writing that down?
Chris, this joke that you have struggled to try to get out multiple times now and then cracked yourself up better be real good.
No, it's bad. It's really bad.
There's a lot of build-up here. Let's hear this one. Let's hear
Jordan, are you a Sailor Scout or a Sailor Stand?
Oh, Jesus. This is what you're paying for, Patreon friends.
Oh, and we appreciate you. All right, here we go. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, of course. Let's get to it.
Here we go.
Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe.
That's what we do, right? Is that the one?
That's not the right sound cue. I think that's the eye catch, maybe.
Okay. I think I've got it. I think I've got this one.
If this is
this it?
No.
Right,
you're getting closer. You're getting closer. That's only like twice removed from what the cue we're going for. Okay, if you play the Christmas one, I'm gonna fucking scream.
Is it this one?
It isn't. It isn't that.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive. Do you have any about horses at least?
I would do that episode.
Okay. What is it? Is it this one?
No, I don't think it's that one.
That's the last one I got, so it's gonna have to be.
Then we'll just assume that's the one.
I actually remember to put the Tuxedo Mask noise in this time. But yes, everybody,
he doesn't appear.
We are watching episode 163 of Sailor Moon Supers. It is called Labyrinth of Mirrors, Chibi Moon Captured. Jordan D. White.
Yeah. Oh my God, this thing. I forgot about this bit.
Yeah,
all right, let's do it.
We got to do the bit.
I forgot it existed. It hasn't been 6 weeks.
Been a month.
No, it's been 6 weeks. Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right.
Oh, God. I'm ready.
Grump, grump, grump. That's all you are.
Let's hear it. Let's do the intro.
I don't remember how I set this up. Do I set this up?
You usually do. You say to me something like, Jordan, did H. Reginald Cloverway think that this episode's title was sufficient? And I go, no, of course not. He said to them, oh, for fuck's sake. What the fuck did he say?
Do you think you guys will ever get H. Reginald Cloverway cosplayers?
Oh, I thought you were going to say get him on the show. And I was going to say he's not a woman. So no.
We don't know. I mean, I guess we have been using male pronouns to refer to H. Reginald Cloverway, but we don't know if they like.
We've called H. Reginald Cloverway a him so much. So if we don't know, we're not doing our jobs properly.
I mean, look, here's a secret, Jordan. I'm going to get real close to the mic. I made him up. I can do anything.
Oh, God. Oh, that's a big relief.
I am the master of H. Reginald Cloverway's fate.
Oh, so is he? Are they a man or a woman?
Who can say? It's 2019. Gender is a construct, and we're evolved.
You can say. You just said you're the master.
Our episode was written by Yoji Enokido.
Wait, we didn't finish the bit.
It was directed by Hiromi Kosaka. The animation director was Marie Tominaga. It originally aired.
Yes, it's almost Valentine's Day, Chris.
It originally aired on February 10th, 1996. Jake, put a love song in here for me, please. I don't have anything in the soundboard, and I'm sorry. Jordan.
What?
Jordan.
Yes.
Mirror Maze Mayhem.
That would be a great title. That's not the one they thought of. Okay, let's see. None of the words no words are shared between the two.
Well, that's
Not even Moon?
No, not Moon, and especially given what happens in the episode, not Mirror, which is insane. This episode should absolutely have Mirror in the title. No, it does not. How could you possibly get this?
Horse of a different flavor because they barbecue him?
Nope, nothing about horses. Nothing about horses. Do we get an origin in this one?
no.
Yes.
Do we?
Sort of. There's some of Nehelenia's backstory.
Is that in this one?
I think that's this one.
No, yeah, she does. She tells her story in this. So, okay. What's another way to say... No, there's no way you're going to get this. What's another way to say the evil origin story?
Tragic past.
But like, can you simplify evil?
DC Comics can't stop doing these stories.
No.
Bad Beginnings?
Oh, that's a
Bad
great
Beginnings
book.
is pretty good.
That's a great book by Lemony Snicket, but no. Well, okay, what's the simplified metaphor for good and evil?
I don't think it gets any simpler than that, Jordan.
It is the metaphor, the most simple, easy, hackneyed metaphor for
Dark
good and evil.
debut.
Okay, you got the first word.
Okay.
You got the first word, dark.
Christy,
No, but what's a word for like a story about a real old thing? A real old
And we're
story.
sure it's not Dark Horse.
It's not Dark Horse.
Dark Horse Begins.
That's a comic book documentary, but no, it isn't really.
Start of Darkness.
No, I said a really old story that you're not sure about the truth of it.
The Epic of Gilgamesh.
Dark Legend?
Yes, the Dark Legend.
Yay!
That's
Do I
really
get a prize?
Yes, it's called the fucking Dark Legend.
That's a bad title, Reggie.
Yes.
Reggie, you goofed it on that one.
You call him a nickname based on his middle name.
Well, he goes, what am I going to call him? H?
I mean, Mr. Cloverway.
Get with the program, Jordan.
Okay, all right.
Sir. You call him Sir.
Oh, all right. So here's where I want to start talking about this. It's the end of the season, which means for better or worse,
it's almost the end of the season.
It's almost the end of the season. Things are happening, right?
Mhm.
Like we're at least getting progression. We are through the filler. We are into the stuff that happens. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's the way the show goes every season. We have filler until it's time, until they're like, oh, hey, we have 4 episodes left? It's time for things to happen. So it's the end of the season.
Right.
So we at least have the illusion of forward motion, right? Like things are finally wrapping up.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I'm liking these episodes so much, because I can see the horse at the end of the tunnel.
I think oddly, that's why I was not
title.
enjoying them. Yeah, that would have been a better one. I think that's why I wasn't enjoying them, because again, at least, I don't know, because at least with I'm sure if I go back and listen to the filler episodes, I was complaining just as much then. But at least with the filler episodes, you get like fun little cute spotlights of this and that and the other thing. And there's lots to complain about this whole season, but I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I just saw that it was the continuing story and I was like, right. A bunch of stuff.
Yeah, dog, I hate to remind you about this, but the filler episodes of this season have been quite bad.
Only thing I can remember is the episode where Mina dated 2 boys, and I was like, that was great.
So we open with, where do we open?
The moon.
We open with the moon.
We open with the end of well, technically we open on Memo moaning in his bed.
No, but before that, there's a shot of the moon.
Was there before that?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so we open on the moon, which is flashing, which the moon does not usually do. I don't know. I went to bed before the super werewolf blood moon that we got this week. Did you see it?
No.
It was too cold to go outside.
It was real cold.
It was really cold.
So then we show that Memo's in bed moaning. We show that the world is covered in spider webs, which apparently is a real thing, which is disgusting. People sent us images on Twitter of like thousands of spiders making webs all over things, and it's horrifying.
That reminds me, I don't know if there's any like significance to this as a larger symbol in stories or anything. But I remember ages ago, as a kid watching the Rainbow Bright movie, weren't they covering the moon with a net? Did you guys ever see that? Do you remember
I
it?
did not.
I don't recall that at all. I don't
I
know if
tried
I've
to
ever
look it up
seen the
to see if I could find it online to watch before this episode, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
Hey, listeners, if you remember the Rainbow
Yes.
Bright movie, tweet at us or email us. We want to know all about it.
I would love to get a summary, like a 1-paragraph summary of the Rainbow Bright movie, please.
Like, I think it was the same thing. It wasn't spiderwebs, but they were using, like, ropes to cover the moon and cut off its light from the Earth.
Why the moon, though? Because there's something
I
else
don't
out in space that is
remember.
a significantly larger source of light.
It's far away, dude.
The moon won't set things on fire?
Do you know how far away, Jordan?
About 93 million miles away.
93 million
And
miles.
that's
Very
why it
good.
looks
One
so small.
astronomical unit.
I know that from a song.
Do you? What song?
The sun is a massive incandescent gas, which is not actually true.
Is that what? Do I want to know what that is?
It's an educational song that They Might Be Giants covered, but it's an educational song from, I think, the 60s that they found and covered. But it's not true. The sun is not a gas. It is a plasma.
All right. Well, now everybody, you're learning so much as we try not to talk about this show. Chibius is up in a mirror.
Yeah, I don't remember that she was put into a mirror, but okay, I believe it.
I mean, I don't either, but it's been a minute.
I didn't watch the episode before this, so I don't remember how she got there.
Yeah, listeners, if you would like to write a story about how you think Chibiusa got in the mirror, let
Well,
us.
we know that they found out she had Pegasus inside of her, and they
Could you take it again? Different phrasing, please.
we know that Pegasus has been inside of her many
Nope.
times throughout the
One
series.
more
What?
time.
I don't understand what your problem with this is.
Do you not?
She's just filled with Pegasus.
No.
Yes,
Mm-mm.
it's a beautiful dream they're sharing.
Okay, there you go. That's I will accept that if I have to.
That he's inside of her.
Move on.
Point is, they know this now, and that's why she's in a mirror. I don't remember it happening, but I'm going to take it as read. There's a lot of mirror play happening in this episode.
Mirror play.
So the scouts are sad about this. I'm kind of like, good riddance, but they were upset.
Yeah. So speaking of people who are in mirrors, what's up?
Mhm.
It's Queen Nehelenia.
Oh, her.
Yeah. She is our
I think you guys are a
actual.
little ahead of me. Sorry.
What was that?
I think you guys are a little ahead of where I am. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't gotten to Queen Nehelenia yet either. I'm
Look,
seeing
I'm
walking around.
trying to move pretty quick,
Well,
folks.
we can't have a short episode just because it's not the world's best episode.
We've already been here like half an hour, so
Anyway, the scouts are walking through they're in the. Oh, by the way, they're in the circus. Do you remember that?
yes.
They're in the
I do
giant
remember
circus
that.
tent, and they're walking around inside of it, and they're confused as to why it's so big. The circus is gross.
So this is one difference with the manga that I wanted to talk about, just because it makes so much more sense there. The circus is an actual running circus that people go to. It's not a weird thing floating over the city.
Well, they do. People do go to it, even though it's floating above the city in the show.
Oh.
They went to it.
Yeah,
for
the
a second.
scouts went to it.
They did?
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it's fucking bananas. I don't know what happens. You go in at the bottom where that's that little tether, and you ride up a fucking elevator or something. I don't know. I don't know what you do inside there, but they went to it and they forgot all about it apparently because they then met the girls who they saw perform and didn't recognize them.
Oh, I should say, by the way, I got the Viz was good enough to send over the Blu-ray of this season, so I actually got to listen to the new English audio for these episodes, and it's very good. And they say, oh, what do they say? They don't say the nonsense. A child's dream is a dream of dreams.
Never ever forget to remember.
No, it's. I think that what they say is always remember.
Oh,
Never forget. A child's dream is a dream they should never ever get.
I don't know that makes more sense.
It doesn't make more sense, but it does
It
rhyme,
rhymes.
which I appreciate. Because if you can't make sense, put it in some meter.
But that actually was a thing in the manga. Like, they go to the circus, but the circus acts hypnotize people, so they think they saw a great circus, but can't remember what actually happened, and then they get their energy drained.
Oh, that's funny. I think they gave up on the energy drain in this season. They just didn't even bother.
Yeah, it's a little unclear even in the manga. Like, they're draining their energy and they're eating their dreams.
They're eating them?
Yes.
Cool.
The monsters are different too, at least like the Monster of the Week ones. There aren't really like the circus performer clown characters. It's all these things that look like evil versions of Soot Sprites from Totoro.
Oh no, I don't know that one.
Or Spirited Away. The little like fuzzy black things from
Oh, gotcha.
Miyazaki movies.
Wait, so when you say they eat dreams,
That's about as much detail as you get.
well, I guess the part that I'm confused about is I still don't understand
the one part that you're confused
the
about.
only thing that doesn't make sense. No, I'm still confused as to what a dream is.
Well, Jordan, do you know those horror movies that play in your brain when you're asleep?
See, but that's what it should be, except don't they also mean aspirations when they talk about them?
I think they're using it the same way we do in English, where you use dream for both the things that happen when you're sleeping and your aspirations.
But we don't confuse them in English. We don't go, "Hey, what was your dream last night?" And we go, "To be a director someday." And it's like, "No, that's not what we meant."
I think it's both. I think they're like, the main weapon that the Dead Moon Circus uses is nightmares. So I think they get in through people's nighttime dreams and then use them to sap their aspirations.
It's a synonym based power.
Yes.
Cool. That's why Sailor Moon is always flashing her butts at people.
Wait, what? Oh.
Sorry.
Can I ask a question about the very nature of the show?
Is the show actually good? We're still struggling with this one, Chris.
No, I mean, look, I know we are gonna have a hard time coming to grips with that one, but legitimately, I'm curious about this, and you as an editor, Jordan.
Yes,
I am curious to see if you maybe have an answer for this. Why is there always a second queen?
It really doesn't.
Why is there
make
always
sense.
a second villain we don't know about? I mean, Nehelenia has, to her credit, been more involved in the story than Metalia was, than like Pharaoh 90 was. But there's always somebody. Why?
Who's the last one?
Mistress 9 and Pharaoh 90?
No, we skipped a season. Emerald?
Oh,
no.
It was Diamond, but he was
Diamond.
controlled by Wiseman.
Diamond and Wiseman, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, who turned out to be the Death Phantom?
Yes, Death Phantom.
Right.
Why? Honestly, I don't have a good answer. I mean, the only answer I feel like maybe this is a cultural thing, but if it's not, then the only thing I could suggest would be they did it in the first season and then went, "That's like a pattern. Let's do it again."
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this happens in other like Japanese media that I've seen, like
and I've seen it happen in video games too. Like, you'll fight the boss and then the boss will turn into a bigger boss.
Yeah, but that's usually the same person though. Usually you get a final form.
Oh,
right?
Hang on. You know what? Star Wars. It's like Star Wars.
It's okay.
I'm just saying. I was thinking we don't really do that.
You mean like how there's a Darth Vader and then there's also an Emperor?
Right. Darth Vader, like the Emperor, barely is mentioned in the first one. He definitely doesn't appear. He appears for a second in the second one, and then he's actually present in the third one finally, and that is a little weird.
Yeah, we were all waiting to see Sheev.
Well, but that's the thing is we weren't. That's exactly it.
Hey, if you didn't know that, by the way, Emperor Palpatine's first name is Sheev.
Oh yeah, I knew
that's like actual Star Wars canon. Jordan, you have to back me up on this.
No, it's 100% canon. As said for the first time, I believe in the Tarkin novel.
Sheevan.
No, not Sheevan. Just Sheev Palpatine.
Not Sheevan Universe?
But we weren't waiting for Sheev, and that's the point. Everybody was
Waiting
satisfied.
For Sheev is my favorite Samuel Beckett play.
We weren't waiting for Sheev. We were all satisfied with Darth Vader as a villain. We were like, yeah, he's the ultimate bad guy in the universe. And then the movies go, well, actually, he's not. He has a boss.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean, I guess so. But, you know,
although,
it's
you know what?
Like...
It makes more sense in Star Wars because at least in Star Wars, spoilers for Star Wars, everybody. At least in Star Wars, they do it so that Darth Vader can redeem himself. They have to get a worse guy so that Darth Vader can go, you know what? I'm a little better than that guy. That's me. whereas, you know, I Queen Beryl doesn't go, oh, let me help you stop whatever her stupid name was.
Metalia.
Yes. Like, no, she
You're
just like
grumpy all over this series now.
No. Okay, you're right. That was that time I was grumpy because I couldn't remember anybody's name. No, but that's weird. Like, it is a weird choice that they keep making over and over again, and I don't have a good answer.
They don't do it in this season, really, unless you're counting Nehelenia as the second boss.
I think we are, because the season starts with
Okay, yeah.
Again,
Madame
I can't remember Zirconia being like the head bad guy of the group, going, send you guys go out and do stuff. And then like halfway through the season, you find out, which is earlier than usual, but halfway through the season, you find out, oh, she actually answers to somebody more powerful.
I mean, I guess maybe it's to raise the stakes even more. Just like, oh, you think you've fought the bad guy, but there's an even bigger bad guy.
I wonder if it makes more sense in the context of the manga, which I really do need to sit down and read now that I've KonMari'd all of my things like everyone else has these days.
My sense, having not read the manga, and hopefully Christy can confirm or deny this as our current manga expert, is that since everything goes more quickly, I imagine it isn't as jarring because you haven't been living with any of these one villains for a year. You live with them for like a couple of chapters at most, and then you find out, oh no, there's somebody else. Not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, all of the villains don't stick around that long in the manga.
Yeah, I know we don't get 10 episodes worth of Jedi in the manga.
It's been a while. I reread this arc to prepare for this show, but it's been a while since I've reread any of the others. But I do think, at least in the first series, it is kind of weird that Metalia just shows up out of nowhere.
It is, okay.
It's pretty weird, right? Okay. Anyway, that was my only question for this. So we've got Nehelenia, and I like Nehelenia.
But Chris, you also skipped. We get the name of an object that we've been seeing all season that I never saw named before.
Oh, is this the thing that's definitely not the Holy Grail?
Yes, the horse phone that Chibi talks on the entire time appears in front of her. I don't know why, but it does, and she refers to it as the Stallion Rev, which is stallion being a horse, obviously, and rev being the French word for dream.
Yeah. That thing doesn't exist in the manga, so I have no backstory on it for you.
I really thought maybe it did because it had a name, and they were finally going to tell us what it was, but that's interesting. It didn't exist there. Okay.
So it's her horse dream.
Yeah. My guess is maybe it's meant to be like a visual stand-in for the Holy Grail, because that's a big thing in the manga, is that Sailor Moon can't use the Holy Grail unless she has all the scouts assembled. And since the outer Senshi have gone away, she can't summon the Holy Grail. She can't transform into, which one was it, Cosmic Sailor Moon anymore?
Oh, right.
So she's kind of demoted back down a power level.
That's so weird.
This was a thing I was going to get into a little more when we get to the Hall of Mirrors, but the manga starts out kind of with everyone not being able to transform.
What? Why?
Yeah, it's the Dead Moon Circus puts like some kind of energy dome over the area that blocks their powers. And yes,
their powers work like cell phone reception? Like, hey, hang on, I can't be Sailor Moon anymore. I'm going through the subway.
I mean, maybe it's not really explained. Sailor Moon and Chibi get it back pretty quickly because I guess they're stronger. But each of the scouts has to go through kind of a journey of self-discovery to find the power within themselves to level up and get their powers back.
Right, we talked about that in one of our Chibi-sodes, talking about the manga in this section.
Oh.
Did we? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That was the one I wasn't there for.
Yes. So I know a little bit about that, but that happens to... I didn't know the reason for it. I knew that there was a body swap at one point that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that was just the Dead Moon Circus kind of messing with the Usagis. It's also, and this is the big theme of the story in the manga, is kind of reaching the end of adolescence and coming to terms with the fact that you're becoming an adult, whether you're ready for it or not.
Oh, there's almost a hint of that in these 2 episodes. Almost.
And that story in the manga is all about, like, Chibi saying she really wishes she could be an adult like Usagi, but at the same time having doubts, and even though she knows she shouldn't want to be a little kid forever, she isn't really ready to grow up yet. And the same thing with Usagi, she's like, oh man, I wish I could go back to being a little kid, kids have it so easy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Dead Moon Circus switches them and gives them what they think they want, and they realize that's not really what they wanted.
I mean, yeah, I wish that this season was pulling off ideas like that.
And
that sounds really good.
Yeah, like, that's what I really like, is that in the manga, this story, it's about the scouts, it's about them maturing and kind of realizing that your dreams change as you get older, but that doesn't mean that you've betrayed who you were when you were younger. It just means that as you get older, you learn more and your priorities change, and you have new responsibilities that you have to deal with.
Very true. So we get at this point.
So, okay. Wait, you keep... I keep finding more and more things that you skipped over.
Where should we be in the video? I'm still...
I want to talk about Queen Nehelenia's origin story.
He's already more than 5 minutes into the episode, skipping over so much stuff. Again, you're right, nothing hugely important, but we should at least say that Chibi is in Dream World now.
She's in the mirror.
In Mirror World.
Yeah.
But she's in the place where... Hold on. She's in the place where Helios's naked boy body is webbed up in public view.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm glad that we took a little bit of extra time to establish that.
There are people who listen to this instead of watching the show.
Yeah, I mean, my note for that scene was, oh, so this is how Chibi developed a bondage fetish.
Why is... we do not have a satisfactory answer for why he is sometimes a boy. And sometimes a horse.
He's just a boy. I think he is just a boy. I don't know why he becomes a horse.
Even in the manga, they don't explain it much. They just say that he had a curse put on him that turned him into a horse.
They don't even go that far in this.
It's Nehelenia's curse.
But I don't think she cursed him in this, because she wants him in his body. She's doing all this to try to get his spirit back into his body. Like, it seems like that's a thing he did to protect himself.
Yeah, I think in the manga he's physically turned into a horse. It's not just when he's astral projecting. He's also not tied up in a spider web. He's locked up in a bird cage.
Yeah. That's double weird, too.
Does
she also have bird powers?
That's weird. Honestly.
I mean, he's not naked and he's not tied up. Or so I guess he's a horse.
When he's a horse, he's naked. Yeah. All right. Chris, you really want to talk about her origin story? Me too. Let's do this.
Yeah, okay. Oh, do you? Because it doesn't seem like you do.
No, I wanted to lay out the stuff first, but yes, I wanted to get to there. It's a weird story.
Yes. So a long time ago, there was a kingdom on the moon. You might have heard of it. It was called Silver Millennium. Why did they call the kingdom the name of a time? I don't know.
Because they were like, this is going to last 1,000 years, and that's it.
Uh-oh. It's been about 999. Look the F out, everybody.
Anyway.
Yeah. So there's also, however, another kingdom with another queen who is not Queen Serenity. They're from a dark moon.
A small dark planet, actually.
A small dark... Oh, that's right. These aren't the dark moon people. They're the dead moon people.
Yes.
So I think it's a little ambiguous in the comic, but I think she's supposed to be the queen of the dark side of the moon.
That's the impression that I got from this, which is actually a pretty cool idea.
But that's not what she says at all. I mean, I had that thought when I was hearing her story, but she specifically says...
even in the manga, it's weird because she describes it as being the inside of the moon.
That's super weird, too.
And also the darkness of the new moon.
Okay, yeah, that is 3 different things.
Anyway, continue with their story. So she's the evil queen.
She is the queen, and she finds out about a new power, a new rad power that will make her the envy of the prosperous Silver Millennium Kingdom. It's on Earth, though, and it is a golden crystal, because, as we all know, all the Moon Kingdom has shitty little silver crystal. Garbage. Get it out of here. Trash. We need this gold thing now.
Yeah, gold's better than silver. What do you want?
Yeah.
So, are her origin story, again, all of this is very different in the manga, but I want to like get through this scene and get your guys' reaction before talking about the differences.
Okay. Chris, how far you want to keep going?
I don't know. No. There's a golden crystal. Helios has it. She's gonna try and get it from Helios. She blows up Dreamland.
No, hold on.
The end.
Don't forget. No, you forgot the kind of important detail, which is she goes to get this thing from Helios, and Helios is like, "Hey." Well, first of all, she falls in love with Helios, which is fucked up.
Why?
Because she just sees this like boy standing there, and she's like, "Yeah." Like struck dumb with anyway. So she goes up to him and she goes, "Hey, I want this crystal." He goes, "Hang on. You can't take this crystal unless you have beautiful dreams. If you don't have beautiful dreams, it'll protect itself." And she's like, "I got this." She grabs it and is like bursts into flames. And she's like, "Fuck you, kid." And then punishes him for it.
I feel like Helios should be like, "Yeah, I did actually warn you."
Yes, and it's not his fault. Like this whole thing is weird. This whole story is totally crazy to me because she tells it like she's supposed to be sympathetic. She tells the story like, "Oh, let me tell you my
I
story."
think she does think she's the victim.
But there's nothing
Yeah, I mean,
remotely sympathetic about what she says. She comes and she goes, "Hey, here's the story. Here's my story. Once upon a time, there was this guy who murdered a bunch of people, and then society wanted to punish him. Well, fuck them." What? No, you can't. You just come out looking like an asshole. You're not even close to the good guy.
Jordan, you say that, but I mean, this is basically like Doctor Doom's origin.
At least Doctor Doom, I feel like Doctor Doom has a basis, because at least Doctor Doom has like a core of like those simpering fools don't understand what they're doing. I can show them how it's done. Whereas that's awful, but that's what he thinks. Whereas she's literally just like, I saw they were happy and I was like, I'm jealous. I want that.
Look, that's again basically Doctor Doom.
No.
I want that. Richards.
Okay.
I want it.
So in the manga, the story where she shows up, she's basically Maleficent. Like, Queen Serenity is throwing a party, I think it's for Princess Serenity's first birthday. And Nehelenia shows up and she's pissed she wasn't invited. So she puts a curse on everyone.
Okay.
And she claims that it was actually her curse that caused the Silver Millennium to fall.
Interesting.
Okay.
Queen Serenity seals her away in a mirror, and she's stuck there until the solar eclipse happens, which weakens the seal, and that's how she gets out. There's not any of the thing with her having a thing for Helios. I think maybe they put that in there just to kind of like set up the parallel with Queen Beryl going after Endymion in the first season. Her whole thing, though, is that she's completely obsessed with surpassing Queen Serenity.
Yes.
So that's all she's after. And in the manga, she does have kind of an aside about wanting to marry Mamoru, but that seems like even that is just more of like a symbol of surpassing the Moon Queen. Like, oh, I'm going to steal her king.
But that's not even her king. That's her daughter's boyfriend. But okay.
I think she sees both Serenities as the same.
Oh, God, why?
I wonder why.
The golden crystal also, in the manga, Helios doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Helios doesn't know where it is.
Mamo has it, right?
Yes.
That is what my wife kept saying over and over again. And I was like, no, listen, I'm telling you, it's that thing stuck in his fucking head. I remember this.
Yeah, no, it's inside Mamoru the way the silver crystal was inside Usagi.
I mean, that makes sense.
And Helios actually gets a message from future Chibiusa telling him to go look for it. And that's what starts him off on this whole quest.
All right, that's a little convoluted.
even by this show standards, I think.
So again, here's my problem with this story, and again, not a problem with the story. Here's my question about the story. The timing is a little weird. She gets sealed away until the eclipse, which hasn't happened in 1,000 years.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I don't have an explanation for that.
And in addition,
it's a special magical eclipse. Don't worry about it.
The circus has been around for 1,000 years because she talks about sending her dudes out to fight the Silver Millennium, and it's the it's the weirdo performers that are
Yeah, I don't think she
we
has
see.
the circus during the Silver Millennium in the manga.
Don't we get a weird little origin for the circus at this point where it's like, oh, they used to be these beautiful dream creatures and now they're weird circus boys? Or is that a future episode?
I think
No, I
that's an
don't
episode
think
later.
so.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Is it?
I
Oh.
think
I watched a couple ahead.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Well, I had time.
I think she's supposed to be alone inside the mirror, or maybe she only has zirconia.
It was a weird story, and I don't get why she told it, because like I said, it just makes her sound like an evil piece of shit when she tells it like we're supposed to go, oh wow, yeah, that wasn't right.
Oh, the one other thing that I wanted to mention on this is that even though the thing with her falling for Helios doesn't happen in the comics,
Mhm.
I thought it was interesting because it's one of the reasons that I like this arc, at least the manga version of it, is that Chibiusa and Helios's like romance feels like kind of a Beauty and the Beast story. And I like Beauty and the Beast, but I also like the idea of like the Sailor Moon version of Beauty and the Beast. He's not an ugly monster, he's a beautiful Pegasus. But
Beauty and the Beautiful Beast.
in the original story, which I haven't actually read, I've only listened to the podcast version of it, but the prince doesn't get cursed for being a jerk like he does in the Disney movie. He gets cursed for refusing to marry his evil fairy godmother.
Huh.
So I thought this was kind of a parallel with that, like Nehelenia comes onto him, he's not interested, so she turns him into an animal.
That's interesting. Although, well, again, the only part being I don't know that she's turned him into an animal in this version. Unless I'm just misremembering it. I don't remember a part where she says that, though.
It's, yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of merging the two storylines a little bit, too.
The romance angle weirded me out because I was like, well, they were just like, it, because it just means they were sitting there going, listen, we want there to be an inappropriate attraction involved one
Another
way or
one?
another. either this kid shouldn't be in love with this other kid, or this woman should not be in love with this kid. One of them is wrong. We got something wrong happening.
Wait, aren't they both wrong? I mean, at least in the anime.
Well, no, in the sense that when we say she has a horse boyfriend, that's wrong. But then some people have said to us, well, but you see, he's really just a young boy. So a young boy having a crush on a little girl is fine, and vice versa. But then the queen should not be in love with this boy at the same time.
No, she should not.
Also, how long ago did this stuff happen? How long has she had Helios?
She's only had Helios since she got out, but Helios is like 1,000 years old.
Okay, hang on. So is the timeline on Helios? Okay, I think I'm understanding this now.
So Helios is
timeline on
1,000 years
Helios
old,
is-
but looks like he's like tween age.
Right, but it's Helios is on Earth with this stupid crystal that he didn't have in the manga. She comes to him, tries to take the crystal, fails. She
Oh.
goes, "Go fuck yourself. Now you're a horse."
Yeah, okay. I think I was...
Power move. Honestly, power move.
Right. Now you're a horse. At that point, she attacks the queen, gets sent into Mirror World. She's in Mirror World for 1,000 years.
Right,
Then
sorry,
somehow,
I think I got this... I think I was not following you correctly. I think her interactions with... Wait, no. Yeah.
But then how does Helios get to Mirror World? I don't know the answer.
Okay, maybe... Yeah, this...
let me look.
I thought all of her interactions with Helios happened after she got out of the mirror after the eclipse, so maybe I was just glossing over
But
that.
she hasn't gotten out of the mirror yet. She doesn't get out of the mirror until
she
next
hasn't,
episode.
like, she at least was less sealed away. Do you know what I mean?
After the spoilers for next episode, the 4 girls find the mirror and start talking to her.
Okay, that doesn't happen in the manga either. They don't actually get into how Zirconia found the Amazonas Quartet, but I'll talk about that next episode.
So when I look at Helios's bio on Wikimoon in the anime section, they play, and again, it's just a quick summary, so it could just be that they're talking quickly, but the way they state his story makes it sound like she comes to get the crystal, she can't take it, so she captures him and locks him away. and that then his spirit takes the form of Pegasus and goes out. The problem is then it says and takes refuge in Chibi's beautiful dream, at which point I go, so when did this happen? Like they can't have all happened at the same time. I don't know.
I guess this happened at the beginning of the season rather than 1,000 years ago, but then I don't know what she was up to 1,000 years ago in the anime.
No, she definitely tried to get the crystal 1,000 years ago, for sure. For sure. My only question is, at what point did she capture Helios? Did she capture him 1,000 years ago and he's been tied up in a spider web for 1,000 years? And that might be the case.
I think maybe the answer is the anime lost track of the timeline and it just doesn't make sense.
That's also likely. Chris, you have a theory?
Well, that's the end of the episode, everybody.
We're trying to make sense of this fucking thing.
Well, here's the problem with that.
Yes.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Is it just a dream? Should we consider it no more substantial than a dream?
It's just a beautiful dream.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. All right. Chris, let's go fast. So then guess what? The 4 girls are bored.
Yes. And they decide that they're just going to basically mess with the Sailor Scouts for a little bit.
Oh, disagree.
Yeah?
They decide they're going to mess with the bad guys.
Do they? I thought they made the Chibiusa real doll to mess with the
not
the
to
good
mess
guys.
with Sailor Moon, to mess with Nehelenia.
Oh, I missed that.
They steal Chibiusa. Nehelenia has Chibiusa webbed up now next to Helios and is like, this is exactly what I've been trying for all season. This is what I needed to have you webbed up here. We'll get into why she needs that at some other point. And they're like, oh, look, the girl's webbed up. I bet you somebody could, like, I don't know, make a replica doll and swap it out. Why would you do that? Because they're bored, I guess.
Yeah, I don't understand their motivation for taking Chibi either.
Yeah, I thought this was all a mess with the Scouts thing.
At best, it's a mess with everyone thing, but the person they're directly messing with in that moment is their boss.
I do like, generally, just how Nehelenia and Zirconia can't really control the Amazonas Quartet.
They are pure id, given form.
Yeah. They're ridiculous. And that's because they're being really cutesy about it. They're going like, oh man, she'd be so mad if somebody did that. Oh, but nobody would do that. Nobody would like take this doll and like swap it in there. That would be terrible. And then they do that.
Yes.
Yes.
They do.
So that brings us to Pregnant Pause, the act break.
Hey, Jordan.
Yeah.
It's 2019.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of the year in which we are currently living. Okay.
Yeah.
How you doing? You enjoying your new year?
Yeah, man. It has been a very good time so far.
Chrissy?
Yes?
Is your 2019 going okay?
Yes?
Oh, okay.
Got any highlights? Give us some highlights.
Oh, I haven't been doing that much, I'm sorry. Being here.
Chris, how about you?
I did the Marie Kondo thing.
What?
Marie
You
Kondo
got rid of all your
KonMari?
stuff?
He bought a condo.
You don't get rid of all your stuff.
Listen, I've never watched it. I just know what I see on Twitter.
Yeah, well, then you should stop because Twitter is wrong and bad. If all you know is what you see on Twitter, you are living your worst possible life.
Of that television show, friend.
Oh, right. So you only know about the part where she wants you to destroy every book in the world.
I didn't even see that. I just know she was telling people. Okay, listen. I probably know a little bit more. Like, only keep the things that give you joy, and like that you be more deliberate about why you have things. So, did you get rid of a lot of stuff?
I did. I did, and I am getting rid of a lot of stuff. I'm getting rid of like 6 long boxes of paperbacks. But yeah, like it really appeals to me because it is about. It's not about deciding what to get rid of. It's deciding what to keep.
Sure.
Which I think is really nice. So speaking of things you can decide to keep, you can keep on supporting this podcast if it sparks joy. And how can people go about that, Jordan?
Well, you can join the many people who donate to us by being a patron on our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/sailorbusiness. For as little as $1 single a month, you get access to the things. But if you go up a little bit more, you get a little more stuff. $5 gets access to conversations that could cut from the show. There was literally a full episode's worth, or maybe a short episode's worth.
It was like
There
a half hour's worth.
Half hour? I thought it was longer. It was fun. I listened to the whole thing and I laughed.
It was a good chunk of laughs.
I had a good time listening to it.
So like half a chibi-sode.
Yeah, it was a good one. And it was good bits.
Yeah, it had as much good content as a regular episode.
Oh, that's sad and cold. But anyway, and then for $15 a month, you can get a pin, which I know are working on being sent out.
Yes.
I know Jake has been sick, as you mentioned, but he is working on it.
Jake's been sick, but the first batch I know has definitely been sent out. So everybody who was a $15 backer when we started the pins should have theirs. If you do not and you've been a $15 backer, then by all means get in touch and we'll rectify that.
I don't think I've seen any pictures yet. So definitely, if send us pictures, we'd love to retweet them.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to see people's pictures. I love that pin too. It is the Act Sorry pin designed by Katie Donnelly. Very appropriate for us at the start of this year.
Back when you guys announced that, there was some joke about bootleg pins, and I really wanted to design a bootleg Act Sorry pin for you, but I haven't gotten around to that.
Like a bootleg Sailor Business pin? I mean, look, they're already kind of bootleg pins.
Yeah, like a bootleg Sailor Business Act Sorry pin, where like Luna's pink or something.
Oh, what are the bootleg Sailor Business pins that you're talking about, Chris?
I don't remember.
Our pins are kind of bootleg pins.
Okay. I thought you meant someone else was making Sailor Business pins.
No, but I would be very curious as to why, if they were. But yes, we like to thank everybody who pledges at the Patreon. So thanks to Emily Mayo.
Thank you so much, Emily. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and thanks to Liz.
Thank you, Liz.
And I believe that is everybody for this time around. So thanks a lot for supporting us. If you're still supporting us from before, we appreciate that as well, from 2018 going into 2019. If you had to cut back, that's also fine. We get it. We know what's up. Also, we haven't done a show in 6 weeks. But we're back on track now. So
hey, Chris, I just kind of took a peek at Twitter because you were being so mean to it. I wanted to reassure it that I still love it.
It's a terrible website, Jordan.
No. I went on to our Sailor Business Twitter. Listen, you're right. Twitter has lots of problems, but this isn't the place for that discussion right now. Our fans, however, on Twitter are great. And again, I mentioned I tweeted about suffering through the episodes, and I wanted to let you know they are reassuring me that Stars is a lot of fun. They're saying not as good as S, but that it's worth it.
Okay. All right. Oh, I should mention, by the way, I believe this is a Patreon backer because I believe we have thanked them previously. But you might have noticed that earlier in the show I pronounced Haruka correctly. That is because I was given a Christmas present by a Patreon backer whose name is Haruka, not Haruka, which is a little passive aggressive, but I get it.
Well, you know what? On the shows where, and I know, listen, I don't want to create headaches for you by saying this, but on the shows where they thank their patrons every episode, I've heard where people will change their names frequently to get messages to the hosts. They'll change their names to give those kind of like hints.
Well, this one, the present also had was signed with a note from that name. So,
well, what's this present?
I believe it was Wolfenstein 2 for PlayStation 4.
Nice.
The new Colossus.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you want to do a Twitter question? One Twitter question?
I mean, you never like them.
Well, I mean, whose fault is that, honestly?
Are you blaming our fans?
I mean, look, it's open for interpretation. Death of the author,
wow.
Jordan.
Wow. All right, Jake Berger wants to know, it's addressed to me, but I think everybody can answer, of course. Jordan, so you've played Vampire. What about the other White Wolf products? Which do you think would be each Senshi's favorite? Who plays Changeling? Who plays Mage? Who keeps trying to get a crossover game going?
Talking about Mage the Ascension?
Yep.
Talking about
Oh,
Werewolf the Forsaken?
yeah. Is that what it was called? Ugh, that was one I never
I
played.
have not played any of these games, but I think they sound fascinating.
I loved Changeling the Dreaming. I only ever got to like play it once, and I was bummed about not being able to play it more. But I liked that one a lot.
Was called The Dreaming? Was it about Neil Gaiman's Sandman?
No, it's about fairies and
Oh, hang on a
fairyland.
second. I think I hear Neil Gaiman knocking at the door.
Oh Jesus!
JK.
Come on in, Neil. Oh,
JK,
okay.
he's not here today.
Oh, thank God. That guy. He's busy with his 2 television shows that will be on soon.
Great. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, of course. It's
What 2
success.
television shows?
American Gods and Good Omens.
Oh, okay.
They'll both be on soon.
Good for him.
So anyway, we should actually answer the question, right?
Yeah, I don't know anything about those games. I never played them.
Oh, did you never play them? Oh, well.
No, dog.
Okay.
I didn't play Vampire. I'm a
That's
D&D
fine.
man. You know that.
That's a bummer. Well, no, I didn't
feel like
remember.
we could
I
guess
forgot.
which scout would want to be like a vampire, a werewolf, a fairy.
Respectively, respectively, Ray.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Ray, Makoto, Minako, respectively, for those 3.
Wait, break it down for me again. Name which one goes to which one?
Ray, vampire, obviously.
Okay.
Makoto, werewolf, and then Minako is the fairies, the changelings, the dreaming.
So what do you think Ami and
Interesting.
Usagi would want to be?
So here are the other options, just so you know. There's Mage the Ascension, which is wizards,
Ami.
obviously.
Ami, yeah.
There's Wraith the Oblivion, ghost one. Hunter the Reckoning, who hunt these supernatural creatures. Mummy the Resurrection, and one I actually
nobody wants to play the Mummy game.
Oh, I bet that's Memories.
It was a difficult sell. Like I remember people being like, bleh. And then apparently there's one called Demon the Fallen, which I've never heard of before this minute.
I actually was having a conversation about these games just the other day with a friend of mine, and he was telling me how the Mummy one was just basically everything that didn't fit. Like Frankenstein's were kind of Mummy in that game.
Yeah, that makes sense. The Changeling game was fun because you were asked about the dreaming. The way the dreaming thing worked is that like they're walking around existing in the regular world, but they see things through the dreaming. So like they see each other.
Yeah,
as
I'm
fairy
familiar
people.
with the concept.
Oh, okay. Well, you sounded like you weren't. I don't know.
No, I mean I'm familiar with that concept from like every urban fantasy novel.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
From the works of I think he's here. Neil?
Oh God.
Neil, you in here?
Yeah, his stories are all about the secret supernatural society that is existing without us realizing about it, side by side with us.
Yep.
That's pretty much his story. That's the story he tells. But that's a fun story, man.
It can be.
All right, so who do we miss? What, Usagi?
Usagi is gonna not play any role-playing games. Come on.
Yeah, you're probably right. I can't imagine her playing any of these. I mean, she'd play whatever one people wanted her to play. Like if she was whoever she was hanging out with that day, she'd make a character. She'd probably make a character and flake out and then not bring the character sheet. And like Ray would get mad at her and say, then you're not allowed to play. Stuff like that.
I think Usagi would be out here trying to play like a Shadowrun character. She'd be like, okay, I want to be like half fairy, half dragon, and have 2 Uzis and a katana.
I remember someone telling me once when we were talking about what kind of, like doing a what World of Darkness thing are you in life? And they told me I was an autumn person. And an autumn person was a person who disbelieves in fairies so much that it hurts fairies to be around them.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
And yeah, I'm into it. So those were your Twitter questions.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
And that brings us
Should we get back to the show?
Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
Okay. All right. And we're back.
I realized I had the audio off because the sound cue synced up perfectly.
Oh,
nice.
So the world's covered in spiderwebs, which is gross.
I mean, look, you say that, but then imagine like all the other insect populations being under control due to
No,
that.
that's
Yeah, but there's spiders everywhere.
yeah. People always say that,
Yes.
like, oh, spiders kill other insects. Cool, except that spiders are fucking disgusting.
Spiders are not disgusting. Spiders are homies, and you are ridiculous.
That's like murderers kill thieves. Well, but now we have murderers.
I appreciate the work spiders do. I want them to do it where I can't see them.
Man,
Yeah.
y'all a bunch of haters.
Yes, I hate insects and arachnids. Yes, that is fair. I am bigoted against arachnids and insects. So anyway, so because somebody read the title of the episode, they went, "Oh, let's put like a mirror maze in this." Which, first of all, it's not much of a maze. It's just a giant open room with lots of mirrors in it. Not even like connected in pathways. They're just scattered around the place.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of them.
I mean, look, you have to design a maze. If you just draw a bunch of mirrors around at random.
Like they're not even, I feel like, which is funny because I feel like Hall of Mirrors and mirror mazes and stuff, that's a thing that's like always way cooler in movies and TV shows than they are in real life. It's in real life, it's just like, oh, you go this way, like, okay, and that's me in a bunch of mirrors. Neat. But I feel like they didn't try very hard because it's just like, oh, let's buy 100 mirrors and just prop them up all over the place, and that's a maze.
Yeah. So basically, what's going to happen here is that everybody is going to see themselves in the mirror, and their mirror self is going to try and get them to basically just fuck off.
Yeah.
And not be a Sailor Scout.
This sequence was the main reason I picked this episode, because
Oh.
I wanted to talk about it because it's a super crunched version of that thing I was talking about before, where like each of the scouts has to go through sort of confronting their weaknesses and believing in themselves more in order to regain the ability to transform.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So it's in the manga, it's only Rays that actually happens in a House of Mirrors. They each have their own sort of adventure. And this is actually where the Amazon trio comes in.
Huh.
So like they, in the manga, much more so than the anime, the Dead Moon Circus don't really physically fight the scouts very much. It's a lot of psychological manipulation. So it's that, like each of the scouts encounters, well, 3 of them counter the Amazon trio, and then Mina faces 2 characters that aren't in the show. But it's each of them, like, facing their doubts, being fed to them by a villain, trying to convince them, like, hey, look, I guess they're preying on their uncertainties, and they're like, look, this is too much responsibility for you to reasonably be expected to deal with. No one would blame you if you just wanted to go back to being a normal teenager and give up fighting evil. And
by moonlight.
Well, whatever. I was gonna say, but they can't actually offer that.
Well,
but they're bad guys. They lie.
I mean, I think the scouts could just stop being scouts if they wanted to.
Well, if they're fine with the world being eaten by spiders.
Well, yes, but that's what the bad guys are trying to convince them of. Like, look, this is too big for you to handle. You should just do what you want to do and not worry about trying to save the world. And they all, like, work through this and come out the other side more dedicated to the cause, and it's really great character development that gets crunched in the show so they can squeeze in more horse.
I'm not criticizing your telling of it, but it's funny to me because I'm like, what other option is there? Because again, if they were saying, Usagi, you can go back to just being a schoolgirl and like being late to school and having toast hanging out of your mouth and stuff, it would be like, oh, that's actually tempting. But what they're actually saying is, don't worry, just lie down and die.
The thing I didn't mention is that this happens a lot earlier.
Sure.
Like, it's right after the Dead Moon Circus comes to town. They're not wrecking shit yet.
Right. That makes more sense. That makes way more sense. But yeah, and that's unusual that they have to condense something for the anime. Usually, the problem is that they have to draw everything out for too long. But you're right; they don't do any justice to that at all. The characters just get like a quick. Oh, didn't you want to be a doctor? Didn't you want to be more feminine than this?
The thing I thought was funny too, reading over that again, was it's Hawkeye that's supposed to be the one that has a thing for older women, right?
Yeah, the Madam Killer. No,
Madam
is that
Killer?
Hawkeye? Yeah, that's Hawkeye. Tiger's Eye likes the young girls.
So in the manga,
Yikes.
there's none of that, but Hawkeye faces off against Jupiter, and he disguises himself as an older woman and like fake mentors her to get her guard down.
Interesting.
That's like how for like a whole chapter.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
like he disguises himself as a woman who runs an herb shop, and Jupiter goes in there and starts confiding in her about her doubts. And that's like at each of them again, they use nightmares, so they kind of like trap them in a dream where they're listing all their doubts to them. And sorry, I'm not doing a good job of explaining it.
No, that sounds a lot better than
But
just
yeah, that's
them
like
looking in a
Makoto's in
mirror.
there confiding about how she's not sure what she wants to do with the future, and then everything kind of goes into a dream state, and Hawkeye's like, yeah, just give up. You don't have to do this. It's fine. Just be a normal girl.
It's kind of funny that you say all this, because what I wrote down after this, seeing all this, was Sailor Scouts versus Freddy would be a lot better than this episode, and I stand by that.
Well, this is the part that I wanted to talk about, because I again, it is unsurprising to me that this was both different and better in the manga, because this is the part that I feel like has so much really good potential to actually like ask the question of like, what is it these girls want that is not the destiny that they kind of have to do, right? And I really wanted to see the scouts kind of doubt themselves and be like, yeah, all we've been doing for I guess 2 years in story time is just fighting people every week. That's not what we want to do. And then I was really hoping that it would build up to Usagi talking to her reflection, and the reflection being like, come on, Usagi, like, this is so scary. You know, this is like, you have no business being here. This is too scary. I know you're scared. And I just wanted Usagi to be like, yeah, it's like super scary. It's like always the worst. But, you know, I gotta do it. Because I feel like she's the one who could be completely immune to that.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, I mean, Usagi doesn't really get one of these, but all of the scouts, it's exactly what you were talking about. Like, it is that wrestling with the doubt. Like, do I actually want to do this? Do I have a choice?
Yeah. And then I would love to see, I would genuinely love to see, like, Usagi just, yeah, I know. Completely no-sell any self-doubt demons, because she is dealing with that already all the time.
I'm sure you are excited to hear this, but I just checked, and a very quick Google found 2 different fanfics of Freddy versus the Sailor Scouts.
Great. Awesome.
One of them is called...
Can we finish up this episode?
No, hold on. One of them is called A Nightmare on 10th Street, which I like.
Okay.
Because it's, remember the 10th district? That's Juban.
Yeah, I got it.
I love it. All right, let's get back to the episode. Sailor Moon.
What were you just doing, Jordan?
The eye catch?
Oh, well, we're not coming back from commercial.
I know,
we're
but
in the show.
I was in a commercial about Sailor Moon and Freddy Krueger.
Okay, great.
Coming to theaters.
What have I said about crossovers, Jordan?
You love them.
I feel like I've said something.
Use them more often.
Definitely not.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Absolutely not. Under no circumstances.
I'm confused. If you knew what you said, why did you ask?
I wanted to see if you knew, and I know you do.
You said, hey, Jordan, I love crossovers, and isn't Mamoru a lot like Batman?
Why did we come back?
Because you couldn't bear to keep me waiting?
Yes, exactly. What are
true.
the temptations that are laid out before the Sailor Scouts?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I know that Jupiter...
Ami wants to be a doctor.
Ami wants to be a doctor.
Jupiter
wants to be more
gets
feminine.
to see herself as what she would be like if she was, quote, like more feminine. Like, because fighting is not a thing that a young love-struck girl should be doing. Which I also really wanted the moment of Jupiter being like, yeah, fuck that.
Sure.
I can fight people all day long and be a classy lady.
Venus is tempted with, hey, why are you being overshadowed by all these losers? Like, you should be the star.
So Venus' story in the manga she gets, quote, scouted to come audition for an idol role.
Sailor Scouted.
Yes.
Good pun.
That is very obviously a trap. And she's like, yeah, I know it's obviously a trap, but I'm still going because it's my job and I want to do this. It's practice for real auditions.
That's pretty good. Mars has something about that she might not be able to defeat everybody, and that she might die, which doesn't sound like a great temptation, but I guess they're just trying to sow the doubt in her that she should not fight. She should run away. And then Usagi's, we were just talking about.
Oh, so Mars is in the manga. She's stressed out because the temple is having money problems.
Oh.
And the solution that her friends pitch her on is marry a rich guy.
Oh, Jesus. That's what the scouts sell her on?
Well, Mina specifically, she's like, you know what you could do?
Ugh.
You can marry a rich guy.
That sounds right.
That's a Mina.
He can do
That
all the work
tracks.
for you.
And Ami's like, does not compute.
Why are you so mean to Ami, Jordan?
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, she has no feelings.
Ami's story is about how she's sad because everyone just thinks she's a robot who studies all the time and doesn't have feelings.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just turned into her bully. I apologize, Ami.
You're such a brain school reject, Jordan. So...
Oh, have you guys... So Mina's story is also where you get to see human Artemis. Have you guys seen that?
No.
No.
Oh, hang on. Are any of these brought into the Sailor Moon Supers special? Special?
How, what?
Okay, because again, we're gonna do that at some point. I know that there's apparently like some side stories that they made into the.
I was not aware of these, so I don't know.
The 3 mini episodes are called. Oh no, they don't appear to be about that. One's about Usagi, one's about Haruka and Michiru, and one's about Chibi. So no, they're not about these. But cool, good to know.
So the Amazonas Quartet lasso up a horse so that they can just dunk on him, I guess.
Yeah, this is weird. Oh, okay. Because it makes it look like what's her name? Zirconia knows. Sailor Moon does the tiara at the mirror to reject this thing because she can sense Mamoru loves her or some shit. And then they all do their powers on, they smash all the mirrors. And then you see Zirconia be like, well, that didn't work. And she disappears and they can see instead the Amazons with the horse. And I'm like, wait, so she knows about this? Like, why isn't she fucking furious? And the answer is, I don't know. She just doesn't talk about it until later.
Yeah, I don't think Zirconia knows this is going on.
Because for some reason, when Zirconia disappears from the mirror, the scouts are left with a mirror that views them straight to what the Amazoness quartet are doing, which is trying to ride on Pegasus and convinced it to do tell me what I just said is untrue.
I can't, and that's the problem.
What, you don't want these young girls riding Pegasus?
No,
Chris, riding a horse is not dirty in itself. The horse riding you is dirty.
Criminy.
People ride horses all the time. That's an innocent behavior.
Anyway.
So they put a leash on Pegasus, and then they tighten it. Mean.
They just can't stop tying up Pegasus.
Yeah. They do this to be dicks. And they try to grab the... Oh, right. So then they try to grab the crystal out of its head, and he bursts into flame. And it seems to be really burning him. Like, it's like, this is a shitty protection for your crystal if it burns you alive?
Yeah, this does not make any sense.
So the 10-year-old girl wakes up, sees her horse burning alive, runs into the fire, and rips the magical leash, or no, it's not a leash if it's for a horse.
Bridle.
It's called a bridle. The magical bridle off the horse's face, and this puts out the fire. There's a lot of bad advice in this episode.
Yeah.
And this is what they cut out the Sailor Scouts character development to put in.
Yeah. Chibiusa running through a fire for love of a horse. What do you think, Chris?
I think it's 11:15.
The Sailor Scouts are all moved by this and stand looking on in awe at the heroism of this little girl who braved fire for a horse.
Yes. They sure do. Then what happens? How does the quartet end up getting trapped in mirrors?
Zirconia just magics mirrors at
Actually,
them.
I thought that was was it Zirconia? I thought it was
Maybe I was only half paying attention.
I think Queen Zirconia like starts yelling at them, and then
Madame Zirconia. She's not a queen.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, Madame Zirconia, and then Queen Nehelenia reveals that she knows what's going on by like fucking up everything and being like, "Oh, you guys suffer." And by the way, remember that thing where you stole Chibi? Well, I just undid it, and I've got her back again. Ha ha ha. Which is
Yeah.
So basically, the whole episode was kind of a wash.
Yeah.
We end the episode where we began.
I do think it's kind of great, this scene of them just hanging out half stuck in mirrors.
Absolutely, that's kind of cool looking.
Yeah. The Amazonas Quartet are very chill, which is a rarity among Sailor Moon villains. Usually, Sailor Moon villains are not nearly chill enough.
Yeah, I really like this depiction of them. Like, they're not that invested in the evil, it's just kind of their shitty job.
Love it. Love it. It's my favorite villainous trope.
So, if we were going to do a recap of the episode of what happened this whole episode, the answer would be Nehelenia told her story. The end.
Sailor Moon looked in a mirror. Nehelenia told her story. The end. And that's it. We get to go to bed now.
That's it.
So that's it for the episode. But now is the time where we talk about what we learned from the episode. Do you remember we do this bit, Jordan?
I
feel
literally
like I just
didn't remember. Yeah, until you said it, and then I was like, "Oh, right."
It's time for Sailor Business Says. So, what did we learn from this week's episode? Christy, we'll start with you. What did you learn?
Oh no, I think I forgot to learn something this episode.
Did you always remember to never forget to learn something from this episode?
I think I did.
You know what? Tell you what, we'll buy you time by telling you what we learned, and then you can go last.
I guess I learned flaming horses outweigh character depth.
Absolutely accurate.
But I already knew
that. Chris, I want to say that I learned that. No, I
learned that all the tween girls want to ride that Pegasus.
I was going to make a riding the Pegasus joke, and I couldn't do it because I knew he would be so unhappy with it.
No, thank you.
I'll do it for you.
I learned that any story that you start with Once Upon a Time, you can just assume that the main character is sympathetic.
Okay, that's pretty good.
How about you?
I learned that sometimes you just gotta grab that thing on that horse's head and yank it out. Maybe it'll work. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Chris, if you don't have beautiful dreams, you're going to catch on fire.
I mean, yeah, but I have some pretty beautiful dreams.
The better for us to devour.
Well, okay. Well, don't, I guess.
Sorry, that's just the way of my people. The dark moon. Oh, no, the dead moon. Oh, man, I screwed that up. Yeah. Dead moon.
So, yeah, I thought this episode had some potential to be fun. It certainly wasn't the slog that others have been, even if nothing really happened.
I mean, speak for yourself, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like, it's one of those things where I just spent so much time kind of rewriting the episode in my head.
Sure.
To try and make it better, which doesn't speak well of it.
Is that your main complaint, Jordan? Just that they're just too much chibi?
I mean, it wasn't helped by the fact that it was the first episode I watched in a really long time. I probably would have forgiven it a lot more if it was just another episode in a series of episodes. But again, it was me coming back to Sailor Moon and being like, "Oh, Sailor Moon," and it's being like, "Oh, Sailor Moon barely matters in this." I mean, again, she's in it. She has a little moment of crisis where the temps her and all that stuff, but again, I feel like she was in it about as much as any of the other scouts because she's not the main character. She's just there to come after Chibi, and Chibi's the one who's actually going through something. And it's a bummer. And also nothing happened, but whatever. Like that happens a lot of Sailor Moon episodes.
Yeah.
So, how about you? Did you like it?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I was mostly comparing it to the manga, so I was disappointed that it wasn't that. But yeah, the Amazonas Quartet stuck in mirrors. I enjoyed.
So we can all agree there's about 4 good seconds in this episode. Not a great track record.
And you started this episode being like, that was great.
Look, comparatively,
I mean, I don't think it was bad.
yeah.
No, listen, it's probably squarely, I was going to say in the middle of Sailor Moon episodes, but that's probably too generous. 3/4 of the way down on the list of good episodes of Sailor Moon, of all ranking of all episodes.
It was no Nessie.
Yeah, no.
So I think that's going to be it for the episode, right? We don't do anything. We don't do any other weird bits, do we?
No, you just have to tell us the name of the next episode, and then I'll tell people to keep their mind on you know what.
Well, before we do that, Christy,